interest in our board. While we're sort of waiting for everyone to get on board, how about giving us a little background for everybody? If Nancy likes this, she might become more of a familiar face.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. I'd be honored to be placed on the board with everybody. I am the executive director of National Council of Jewish Women. We are a nonprofit organization, part of a national organization, 58 sections in all 50 states. Here in Louisville, we are celebrating our 125th anniversary. We have about 650 members. I believe we are still the oldest and largest women's organization. And we just advocate for all good things for women, children, and families, regardless of a religious affiliation. Our group was just started by a smart group of Jewish women 127 years ago, I believe, the national organization. We also own and operate the Nearly New Shop, the resale store in Mid-City Mall. We're on the lower level. So we have been, the shop has been open 65 years. We've been in that location, I believe, 30 something years about now. I've been with them for a little over a year and a half. Prior to that, I was working part-time at JCPS. And my original career, my original degree was back in advertising. And I've got 2 teenage daughters, one just about ready to go off to college somewhere. We'll see. Hopefully this week we'll know. And that's about it. We've been here for about 6 years in Kentucky. Wonderful.
Well, Mid-City Mall has been far greater improved by having a to-go spot for all those family and personal needs.
Yes. And it's Absolutely. Still so cool for those of you who haven't been there. You know, that space used to be an ice skating rink, a bowling alley, a roller skating rink. And we still, the shop, again, as a nonprofit, there's only so much money we can put into paint and flooring and carpeting and all that good stuff. We still have the original wood roller rink still down on the bottom section of the floor. We've got some disco balls. You can still see where the old DJ booth was. So we like to call it the little nostalgic charm rather than, gosh, we just haven't been able to update a few of those things.
Absolutely. Let's see. Let's see. Are y'all still there? Good. No, this modern technology drives me crazy. Come on. All right. I know I can do this.
Did you lose your picture?
It's not you all. My daughter's moving today. Everybody's calling. You all been through it. And even though they know I'm trying to do a meeting, they still think they can start all this stuff. And it drives me crazy because it gets me off screen. But Miss Perez, are you somewhere? I cannot see you, but you're online, correct?
Correct. I'm here.
Well, how about telling us a little about you? You have shown some interest in being a board member.
Well, I work for Park Community Credit Union. I've been here for about 16 years. I have been part of different boards. Of course, because of Park Community gave me those opportunities. One of those was J-Town. Also Fern Creek board, and I hope to have an opportunity to be part of this board too. But those are just small details about me.
Well, now you're more active than that. I've met you. You've been an active participant in many things.
I have, but keep in mind, you got me on the spot. I wasn't ready for this one this morning.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Let's see if I can get myself back. I know, Mark's laughing at me there. Technology. All right. Well, to get started, good morning, Aaron Givhan here, and really appreciate you all tuning in. Our guest speaker today is Bryan, and it's Cobban, C-O-B-B-A-N. Greatly appreciate his willingness to join and give us a little heads up of what's happening with the coyote in our area. Bryan, can you give us a little background about you all?
Absolutely. So my name is Bryan Cobban. I work for Kentucky Department of Fish and Wildlife as the regional biologist. So I cover about 10 counties, Jefferson County being one of those counties. So Amy invited me here today to talk a little bit about coyotes and urban coyotes. And it's a pretty common question I get. I've got a short presentation that I'll kind of just show you guys and have some slides and some pictures that it really helps kind of illustrate the story. So let me share that with everybody quickly. Oh, I host disabled attendee screen sharing.
I can make you this host. Hang on a second. Let me find you.
Okay.
Are you able to share now?
Let's see. Share screen. Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to switch over here to my PowerPoint and we'll start. So my contact information is right there in case anybody needs it. You can always find me on our website as well. But I service everything from ranging from nuisance animals to wildlife gardens, pollinator plantings, habitat for deer, turkey, quail, non-game stuff. So kind of cover the gamut of everything. And this is part of my function of my job. So I'll just kind of get into this presentation. So traditionally, coyotes were very rare in Kentucky. And I think it's important to kind of understand that once we as America really kind of got going, we extirpated a lot of large animals from the eastern U.S. Elk, bears, mountain lions, wolves, and so on and so forth. And you can see there traditionally coyotes were just in the very central part of the U.S. But with the extirpation of the larger predators from the eastern U.S. In the 1800s to the 1900s, it really allowed for a rapid expansion of coyotes across now all of North America. So so they're kind of relatively new. You talk to people that were around in the 50s or 60s and were out in the woods a lot, they never saw a coyote. Now they're everywhere. So a couple things to talk about. Coyotes in the eastern U.S. are a little bit larger than coyotes in the western U.S. They can get up to be about 50 pounds. They breed from February to March, and their litter size is really dependent on competition and resource availability. So if they're able to have a lot of food and there's not a whole lot of competition, those litter sizes will be a little bit bigger. And conversely, on the other side, den sites are often dug out into hillsides or big logs and abandoned junk piles and that kind of thing. So urban environments don't necessarily exclude coyotes. They come in many different color shapes and color phases. So they can look like a German Shepherd, kind of there on the top, all the way to that traditional kind of tannish orange color to even black pelts there on the left. So a lot of people go, well, I saw a German Shepherd size, whatever, and it's often just a coyote, just different color phases. And I've seen all of these color phases here in Kentucky that are pictured here. So they can look pretty various, but they've got pretty distinctive pointy ears, a long, slender snout, and that kind of leg to body ratio is about the same. So our really here is about the coyote biology, and there was a lot of concern about what do coyotes eat. We're going to get into that. But typically, they're omnivorous, so they eat everything from berries to insects to vegetables to small. Typically, their diet consists of small rodents, so things like squirrels, chipmunks, mice, voles, groundhogs, those kind of thing, and they are highly adapted across the entire U.S. And we'll get a little bit more into what they eat later. So cities are great coyote habitat, and we're going to get into that a little bit more, talk specifically about coyotes in the city of Chicago. There's no persecution of them in the U.S. or in the bigger cities, that is. There's no large predators like mountain lions or wolves or bears that might predate on coyotes. And there's a variety of foods. So there's trash, there's the mice eating the trash, there's bird feeders that attract the mice, that attract the coyotes, as well as there's gardens and so on and so forth. So cities have just become a really great place for coyote biology, or for coyotes to exist. So here's a coyote. She was radio collared in the city of Chicago, and I don't know if you can see Chicago very well, but kind of there's Navy Pier. I don't know if you can see my cursor. And this is kind of all her geotags. So her GPS location was taken once a day for a year. And you can see she ranged from downtown where the skyscrapers are in Chicago all the way out to suburbia, and that's where she lived. And you can actually see a picture of her there in a parking lot eating looks to be a fast food bag with some food scraps left in it. So they're very, very adaptive. Here they are in Chicago again, Wrigley Field, standing outside of where the Cubs play baseball. After the crowds are gone, and you see coyotes just roaming the baseball park. So once again, you can look at home ranges inside. So they both use the greenscapes as well as the urbanscapes throughout Chicago. So let's talk about what they really eat. Typically, their diet consists of small rodents. White-tailed deer, fawns especially, are pretty common. A lot of carrion, rabbits, birds, raccoons, grass. They eat grass. So they seasonally forage on what is seasonally available. So if there is a blackberry patch, they're going to stop and they're going to eat that blackberry patch. But there's no blackberries in January. So that's where they may eat more mice or nuts or acorns. And they are also can be kind of handy here in urban environments. Here's a coyote carrying away a Canada goose egg. So some places have problems with Canada geese, and you'll see them put out fake coyotes to keep the geese off the lawns. It doesn't work too terribly well, but they actively predate on things in urban environments. Here's a coyote that was actually in a Quiznos in downtown Chicago back in 2004, I believe. So they kind of get comfortable wherever they can get in. And here's a coyote on a rooftop in New York City. So once again, highly adaptive, looking for places to hang out anywhere they can make a living. Here's a coyote actually in Mockingbird's garden on Crescent Hill Golf Course in Louisville. So they are in Louisville, and they are in Louisville all the time. Really, they are seasonally more visible for various different reasons. Of course, when leaf drop happens, coyotes become much more visible because you can see further into the woods, or they can't just hide behind that deciduous shrub row. So they're here all the time, and we just have to learn kind of how to live with them. We're going to talk about that a little bit more here in a second. Here's some coyotes on Saunders Avenue, and that's not too far from the Beargrass Creek and Cape Hill Cemetery. So we're getting right into the Highlands area. So they're there, and you can see there once again two very different color morphs. The one on the left being kind of reddish, and the one on the right being gray. So they can look very different and be together. So the problems with coyotes, typically with people, it's that they are there. Even if the coyote is not causing troubles, it is the coyote is there. For farmers, they definitely will attack livestock and lambing and fawning or operations. But as far as humans, coyotes are very scared of humans. And there's been very few documented attacks of coyotes on humans, but they will, especially smaller animals like cats and like small dogs. If they are left unattended and outside, they will predate on them if they're there. So since from 1976 to 2006, there was only about 160 attacks, most of which, as you can see in that graph, were in California. Kentucky doesn't even make that list on that graph. And there's only been, since 1976, 2 deaths. One was a young girl, I think she was 4, and the other one was a 19-year-old woman out walking in the woods. So in a third of all attacks, it was the coyote being separated from its food source. So whether that was somebody was feeding their cat or their dog outside, or they came up and there was a trash pile and they tried to scare the coyote off the trash pile, or what have you, that's where most of the issues occur. So put it in perspective, Cook County, where we already talked about there being coyotes in downtown Chicago, documents 2,000 to 3,000 dog bites a year, and very, very few coyote attacks. So it really, coyotes or domestic dogs pose a bigger risk than the regular old coyote. So the best thing to do is when you're talking about children and you're talking about pets, is don't leave your small pets or any pets alone outside if you can. Change up your walking routines at night. Fence in playgrounds for children. There's many reasons not to leave your children unattended outside, not alone, not just coyotes, but many, many other reasons. So if you practice just good parental instincts there, you can avoid a lot of issues with coyotes. So you can see here a coyote eating out of a dog bowl and a coyote drinking out of a hummingbird feeders. These are just things that happen. And if you start to see coyotes that show up, pull in your bird feeders every night and sweep up the seed. Like I said earlier, when that bird seed hits the ground, it attracts rats and mice, which then in turn attracts coyotes. So if you have a coyote that's hanging around, oftentimes they're pretty harmless. But if you have one that's getting a little aggressive, then pull it in and try to get that coyote to move on a little bit. So other things you can do is make sure your trash is up, fence out your gardens and your compost piles, keep your grills clean, keep your trash up again. But not all gates are coyote proof. As you can see, here's coyotes scaling 6-foot fences. There are some in the top right corner. You'll see things like rollers that go on top of fences that supposedly will help keep coyotes out. I've never seen the literature that says that it will. But other things you can also do, so not only can you keep up your food and keep up your trash, but encourage your neighbors not to feed the feral cats in the neighborhood. More feral cats means more coyote food. Coyotes really can like cats to eat on them. So here's a coyote just sitting on a standard chain link fence. They are highly adaptive and highly mobile, and they can get where they want to go. If they can't go over it, they'll go under it. So things you can do as far as walking your dog. Walk your dog on a short leash. Don't walk your dog in low light conditions, early in the morning, late in the evening. Switch up your nightly or your morning routine. Don't always walk the same route. Switch up the time of day, and never, ever, ever let your dog go play with a coyote. And that may seem obvious, but people have done it, and then they complain when their dog gets attacked. So just, and if you, and we're going to talk about it as a human, what to do when you see a coyote. So if you do see a coyote, don't panic. Coyotes are very curious animals, and they may just be watching you and hanging out. Don't approach a coyote or take selfies or a video. Don't feed it. Don't run. Don't turn your back. And don't haze a coyote with pups one that is acting ill or sick or appears to be injured. And we're going to talk about hazing strategies here in a minute, but basically make yourself big, make lots of noise, and back away slowly. If you have a small dog, pick it up. So wave your arms, widen your stance, wave a stick, shout, whistle, clap, stomp, throw a rock, pick up your dogs or your children. And we're going to talk about it specifically if you're going to haze it. So just the yelling and the screaming and the clapping of the hands and making yourself bigger is all considered hazing, but you can also throw items not at the coyote, but near the coyote. Sometimes if you were to actually hit something, it'll trigger a defensive response. So hazing, according to the USDA National Center, has proven to actually reduce coyote sightings and appearances, and they will actually become more afraid of humans, and therefore they will naturally just avoid you more, and you won't see them as often. So it does work. Every now and then there is a bad actor in coyotes, one that just won't leave, and sometimes it's best to come in and trap that animal or remove that animal from the population and let a more friendly coyote infiltrate that population. So you can always go to our website, fw.ky.gov. We've got a nuisance wildlife tab, and you can find all our coyote information. urbancoyoteresearch.com. There's all sorts of really good information out about how to live with coyotes, because it's been proven that we can't eradicate or control them effectively in any place in North America. So things to know about: there's year-round hunting season on coyotes, and you can hunt them year-round if you feel you need to do that. Also, there's a provision in KRS law that says you are able to protect yourself or your property from wildlife damage. So you can do those things if that sounds like something you want to do. You can trap the coyotes if you want to do that yourself. Season runs mid-November through February. You can look that up on our website. You can call nuisance wildlife control operators, a list of which can be found on our website. So those are companies like Critter Ritter or exterminator companies that will come out and they'll actually trap those coyotes for you if you're having a problem with them. And other than that, the best thing to do, this is a coyote riding on a bus in Portland, Oregon. I don't know exactly it got in there, but it was there for a ride. Keep pets indoors unless you can be outside with them. Keep them on a short leash. Remove trash. Talk to your kids about coyotes, what to do if they see a coyote, and so on and so forth. So with that, I'll take any questions anybody may have, and I'll stop sharing my screen.
That's very interesting.
Hi, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, this is Mary Ellen Cassidy, and I'm the president of Upper Highlands Neighborhood Association. And so we are over by Atherton High School, Gardner Lane, all the way over to Newburgh, and we've had lots and lots of coyote sightings in the neighborhood,
Yes,
mostly down by Beargrass Creek and Atherton High School. And I'm just listening so I can get some information for our neighbors. My question is, it seems like we've seen some scat that includes ginkgo seeds in it, quite a bit of ginkgo seeds. I guess that's part of their diet.
Yeah, I mean, if it's available and it's a nutritional resource to them, they are omnivorous, so they will eat fruits, berries, seeds, as well as protein and carrion.
Okay. So I'm just going to share some information with our neighbors then from your website, and just so that they keep their animals safe. We have a lot of missing cats in the neighborhood, unfortunately. So
yeah, and cats can be coyotes, or it could even be great horned owls. And so, any of those kind of bigger predators, definitely a cat is well within their reach.
Okay, good. This is very, very
helpful.
helpful.
There's a whole series of flyers too that you can distribute.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad that you're talking about these surprises. I've actually seen the coyotes crossing streets here. Actually, I walked out in a yard. I was showing homes and walked out in a yard, and there was one just sort of sitting there. And he, as soon as he saw us, he left. But it's like they're more here than I think a lot of people believe.
Absolutely.
Bryan, I had a question. So when a coyote does say attack a dog or something, do you know what that injury might look like by any chance? Is it a bite? Is it a scratch? Could it be any or?
It could be all of that. I mean, definitely they are going to operate like all predators do, and they're going to try to asphyxiate that animal, so biting around the neck or breaking the spine. But oftentimes, there's a chase involved. And so you'll see bites on the hind quarters or scratches on, they don't have, really sharp claws like a cat would. So it's not going to be like a slashing.
Okay.
It's going to be a bite.
So I was curious, my dog one night went out to go to the bathroom before bed like usual, and she came back. I don't know if you can see this, but she has this huge gash on her side, 20 stitches.
Okay.
And I didn't know if that was something that a coyote did. We just didn't know, because she's not small. I mean, she's 40 pounds. And we go out, I live in Prospect behind Sutherland, and there's lots of sightings of coyotes out here, but we have a fenced in yard, and she goes out every night. It's never been a problem, but she came in one night with that big gash, and I didn't know if it could have been a raccoon or if it was a coyote.
It's likely that it could have been a coyote, or it could have been something like a raccoon. And they just got into a fight. And it's a larger dog could fend for itself against a coyote, probably. But maybe that your dog scared the coyote or vice versa, and they just kind of got into a tussle and then separated.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something that can happen. Yeah.
Thank you.
Right. Any other awareness or shares, sightings in the area? Well, Bryan, I cannot thank you enough for getting the awareness going and having such a high-end presentation. That was more than I was thinking about this morning, but it makes a lot of sense given the transitions that are occurring with wildlife, even in Kentucky. And please, we will include it in our posting, but send us like contact information. And so if somebody wants to have a presentation, I know that they were asking, different areas of town, but we'll be glad to spread the information.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
I'll send that information to Amy. I have her email. Did you hear me?
No.
Yeah, thank you, Bryan, and I'll send it out.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll send our bulletins and all that to Amy.
Okay, great.
Great.
And I'm also recording this as well, so I'll post this on our Highlands Guild page, Facebook page.
Okay, awesome.
Cheers.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
Great
you.
presentation. Thank you.
Yeah. Is Amy, is Cassie, she's sending forward any information for us to share with people today?
No, I haven't heard from her today. So
Okay, no problem. No problem. We spoke on another Zoom meeting, so I thought that she would have a little update on some of the things she was doing, but no problem. Lieutenant King got called into a meeting this morning, and he asked me to stress to our viewing population the number of people turning their cars on, warming them, and not locking them is phenomenal. And the number of people losing their cars in the Highlands has increased because they leave them running unattended. Now, I know that sounds against logic, but if you have a running car in the Highlands, I would say the probability of it not being there when you get back might be pretty high. But he asked me to stress that the majority of the issues in the Highlands deals with vehicles, and it's leaving items invisible, and you can see them in the seats or on the dash. But this running them unattended has led to a new surge in car boosting. So just to let the guys know. Well, one exciting thing that we have today is one of the newest businesses in town, and Gina Noble. She's the owner of PG&J Dog Park. Gina?
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me, Nick. Thanks for the invitation. So PG&J's Dog Park Bar, PG&J stands for my 3 rescue pups, Paco, Ginny, and J. Roddy. And that's what the initials are. And I am a Louisvillian. I actually grew up in Oldham County, but I moved to Texas for 7 years. And when I lived in Texas, I was a member of a dog park bar there in Austin. And that's where the idea came from. So I had a small duplex, a small apartment with 3 dogs, and there was really no place to take them without me having to do all the exercise all the time. So when this dog park bar opened up, it was right down the road, and we went there and had a few beers, and the dogs ran around, and it was brilliant. So we decided wherever we moved, again, my husband ended up back here in Louisville. He's a professor at the medical school, a research professor, and we ended up coming back to our alma mater. So it was kind of cool. And I said I was going to open this type of business, but I knew with Kentucky weather, we had to have an inside component. And my vision was always a big garage with doors that would open up to an outside space. And sure enough, that Mr. Transmission Auto Place became available for rent in March of 2019. Had not finished my business plan yet, but I knew that was exactly the space. I knew the Highlands. I'm familiar with the Highlands. And it was just a really neat space, and it had everything I wanted. But as you all probably saw, I had the longest coming soon sign on that building. It took a very long time to get this business off the ground. We had quite a few hurdles, from permitting to financing to COVID, but we finally did it, and it's been wonderful. I'm very blessed. The community has been so welcoming and appreciative, and it's just been a really neat place to watch pets and their pet parents happy and have a space to go to share. So we're an indoor-outdoor dog park that serves coffee, beer, wine, and cocktails. And there's also another component to this business. It's a social enterprise. I'm very passionate about the rescue organization. So we sponsor 5 local rescue organizations. So literally every dollar you spend with us, a portion is donated to those 5 organizations. Mm-hmm. So I'm just excited to be a part of the community again. I'm glad we came back, and I'm looking forward to being more involved. I've done a lot of networking, done a lot of BNIs, Women Who Whine for a Cause, NABO, NEW, and I'm looking now to get back into networking and hopefully joining this organization as well. So thank you so much for having me.
Well, now, what have you found during this time, being as challenging as it is? What have you done to adapt to the craziness that we're in, besides opening your doors on a good day?
Well, so I'm actually very fortunate because of the space that we have. It's very open, and there's a large outdoor space, and dog owners, they want their dogs to run, so they don't mind standing out in the cold. So a lot of people feel safe being at our location because it is so large, and we do require masks, and we don't have any seating at the bar. Our tables are spaced apart. And like I said, anytime we get a chance to open up those doors to let fresh air in. I've also installed, it's a gable vent fan at the pitch of the building. And there's a big louver so that I pull fresh air in throughout the day, so that the air is not just recycled and sitting in the building. So that's actually another preventative thing that we did with the pandemic in mind, to have fresh air in. And then we just limit the number of people and dogs. The fire department, or the occupancy load for that place, is 390 people, which I would never put that many people in that space. That includes inside and out. But even at half capacity, which we are now, we're allowed to have 195 individuals in there. And that's not going to happen either, because they don't care about dogs, and mine is about safety. So we limit it to about 35 dogs, and that really does limit the number of people that can be in there. So with the space, with the fresh air, and with limiting the number of people, we've been able to really make people feel safe and adhere to the guidelines for COVID prevention.
Wonderful, wonderful. Oh, here we go again, technology and me. the, what are your hours?
We are closed on Mondays and we open at noon Tuesday through Friday, and we close at 10 p.m. And on Saturdays, we're open from 10 to 10, and Sundays we're open from 10 to 9. So we don't stay open very late, which I love, because I used to be a bartender at Phoenix Hill back in the day, and being the 4 a.m. thing. And I said, nope, not going to do that. Plus, you don't need to be out drinking with your dogs anyway. So 10 p.m. is the latest we stay open.
Well, and you're neighborhood friendly. Imagine that. Shocker.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
that was
welcome.
a big thing I had to get over at first when people saw it. They're like, no. And I was like, trust me, we close at 10 o'clock. It's a whole different story. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, was there any questions, thoughts, or about a new opportunity in the Highlands? I know we have pet lovers right and left. Now, I'm sure that the cat advocates are going to ask if they were to have equal rights in this at some point in time.
Well, I will say that Chuck Patton and I have paired up, the owner of Perfect Day Cat Cafe, to do some cross marketing. And one of our little campaigns, it's going to obviously have a donation component to it, but we haven't quite figured it out. But we're thinking of paws versus claws and doing some type of program together. So to benefit the Kentucky Humane Society.
Gina? I can see the T-shirts now.
Gina, may I ask a question?
Sure.
How does someone utilize your dog bar? Do you have to be a member? Can you just walk in?
It's a great question. So one, you do not have to be a member. Two, you don't even have to have a dog. So if you just like dogs and want to hang out with them, and then that's okay too. But we only charge the dogs. We don't charge our two-legged friends. And the charge is a $10 day pass, which is good for the whole day. So if someone wants to come try us out, or they're visiting from out of town, they can pay $10 and visit the park, come and go that day. We also offer a 5-day pass. We do a monthly membership and also a yearly membership. And the reason why we charge is because that membership pays for the upkeep of the park, because we supply all the supplies, the poop bags. We also have bark rangers. Those are individuals that monitor the play yard. And so it helps pay for our staff as well to make sure everyone plays safely.
Well, thanks.
Yep, thank you.
All right. Any other thoughts or observations about one of the newest hotspots in town?
I think the collaboration between the cats and the dogs, you could have it, we make it pausable.
Oh, God.
That's good. I like that. I'm gonna write that one down.
Yeah, we make it pausable.
I'm so
That's
glad
good.
that Ed Fallon can join us today to add his observations and kindness.
Sure. I do it.
Wonderful. I did get a text from Cassie. She is in a budget hearing and did not realize there was a just a mishap. But tonight is a budget meeting that is public, and she's inviting anybody that wants to join. It's through that web text. So the budget hearing is open, and she wanted to remind everybody to tune in. And she does apologize for the confusion, but the budget process right now is as crazy as everyone else, I guess, is trying to get through the day. Well, with that being said, why don't, if everyone's willing to introduce themselves and give a little hint on what they do. Nick, I see you on screen, so I'm just going to start with you. I'm not sure, this is going to be interesting. How do you do this in this? Amy, since you are sitting at the controls, I'm going to let you go down the line and ask people to introduce themselves. How about that?
Okay, hang on one second. Let me pull up the.
Oh, yeah, don't. Give her a chance. The reason why I'm asking her to do it is because I'm sitting here going like, how do you do it?
Okay. Let's start with Mike O'Brien.
All right. I wondered if being in the top box, I would go first. So I'm Mike O'Brien. I'm president of the Musicians Union, the big white house next to Murphy's Camera. And Eastern Parkway. And as a member of the community, we want to be a little more involved. We have some programs that we're involved in the Aglow, provided music. We obviously represent the Louisville Orchestra and lots of freelance musicians in town. So should you have any desire for music, give us a call. We also have in our building 5 Elephants Acupuncture, and our front space is under lease with the hopes of making what we think is going to be a community bar. But like Gina was saying, we're between COVID and permitting, we're not getting real far with progress on that. It's still under the works. Should anybody know of anyone who would want to sublease or need any office space, which I know is not really in demand at this point, give us a call. We could make some space available. So that's me.
Okay, thank you, Mike. It's nice to see you. And let's go to Bob Atkin next. Bob?
Bob Atkin, I'm the president of the Deer Park Neighborhood Association, which runs from Eastern Parkway up to Douglas Boulevard along Bardstown Road.
Okay, thank you, Bob. I appreciate it. Okay, how about Karen? Hi, Karen.
Good morning, everyone.
It's not you. It's the wildness of my life right now. I'm Aaron Givhan, Givhan Mitchell Realtors. I do occupy the board president of the association, which means nothing. We go by group vote. Everything we do is by group. We are groupies to join in the Highlands. But really have appreciated the support and opportunity in the volunteer mode of being involved on the Highlands. Very fortunate that we have a very small and effective group of people with me. And we're in the 31E building, which used to be the old Edenside Christian Church. So I'm excited to be on holy ground, here to help people in their quest on business needs with the Highlands Commerce Guild, and always glad to be a service in the real estate world. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Aaron. Okay, let's go to Karen next. It sounds similar.
Yes.
Hi, Karen.
Good morning, everyone. Karen Finlinson with Park Community Credit Union. I'm the Business Development Officer for Louisville and Southern Indiana, which means that I get the privilege of supporting the branches and the growth of the credit union on the business and member side. So I've been with Park now for 14 years. I think of those 14 years, we've probably served on the board in a capacity at Highlands, and certainly have been a longtime supporter. We've had the privilege of being very active in Polar Palooza and a lot of events put on by the Highland Commerce Guild. It's a great place to make friends and good business contacts, and I encourage everyone to become involved. You'll get a big return on your investment. So good to see everyone. Familiar faces and new faces. Karen Finlinson, our Community Credit Union.
Okay, thank you, Karen. Okay, Nick Morris is next. Hi, Nick.
Hi, good morning. Nick Morris. I'm the owner of the Safety and Security Store. We're at 622 Baxter Avenue, and we are a specialty retail stores that carries just a wide variety of products. We're kind of a one-stop shop for security needs. You can come in and pick up anything from pepper spray on up to camera systems. In fact, camera systems have gotten very popular in the last 3 to 5 years. And so we've been here 20 years, and I am also a board member of the Highland Commerce Guild. So Nick Morris, signing out.
Thank you, Nick. Adema, we heard from you earlier, but I think a lot of people weren't signed on. So if you want to introduce yourself again.
Sure. My name is Adema Perez. I'm with Park Community Credit Union. I have been given a great opportunity to actually work at Douglas Loop office. I have been here for 16 years, worked side by side with Karen and Ed, learned lots from both of them. Really happy to be part of this board and attend these meetings. I do just want to mention that Park Community Credit Union knows that it is a difficult time for a lot of people during this COVID, and that we have created different loans for individuals in need. So if you know anybody that is in need of a loan, please send them my way. And then we also have lots of business loans. So again, if your business is in need, let us know.
Wonderful. Thank you. And next is Mark Abrams. Hi, Mark. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Mark Abrams. I'm the treasurer. Treasurer of the Highland Commerce Guild, and I'd like to say welcome to Adema and anyone else actually who has a desire to be on the board. Consider yourself on the board. What I would like you to do for my purposes as the treasurer is if you could send me an email with your contact information, where you would like to receive mail, either at home or at work, send that to me. And my email address is Mark, M-A-R-K, Abrams, A-B-R-A-M-S. It's Mark A. Abrams at gmail.com. It's if you'll send me that information, anybody who's interested, we need more board members on the Highland Commerce Guild. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Mark.
you for that plug, Mark.
You're welcome.
Okay, and the next up is Deanna O'Daniel. Hope I pronounced that right. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much, and good to see everybody again. I had a little trouble getting into the site, but I finally figured it out. I had to turn a U blocker off, and anyway, my business is Self-Seek Hypnosis and Wellness, and I'm located on Deering Court. I have a home office there. I've been in business 26 years. 21 of them have been here on Deering Court. And with the COVID, a lot of my patients seem to be addiction problems, because in coping with the COVID, people definitely took a few liberties they don't usually allow themselves. So that's about it. I just reopened from COVID a couple of weeks ago, so I'm happy to be seeing clients again. And like I said, it's good to see all of you guys.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next up we have John. I don't know, is it O'Dwyer? Is that how you pronounce your last name? Thanks for joining us.
It's John O'Dwyer.
Okay, O'Dwyer.
I'm on representing the H. Northern Hibernians. I'm the president currently, and usually you'll see me around a few months before parade hits or parade season. I do have an update today, but I can hold that till after the introductions, if that's okay.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, next is Michael Pitt. Michael, are you there?
I'm here, but I really don't have any kind of a report or anything. Aaron invited me, and that's why I'm here. And I wanted to hear about the dog park bar.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Okay, next up we have Tom. Tom, can you hear us?
Don't let Michael off that easy. He's into everything.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I can hear you. Tom Safura, and I'm a board member, and I'm in charge of the Highlands map, which is sponsored by the Highland Commerce Guild, and also in charge of Coffee News for the Highlands and St. Matthews. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Tom. Okay, how about Ed Fallon? Good morning, Ed.
Good morning, everybody. I think Nick stole my line. Signing out. I used to be in business development with Park, so you got 3 Park people here today. I'm glad that Adema has taken on the role of being on the board. And I will be signing out. I am now a mortgage loan originator, so if you need a loan, the rates are starting to go up for mortgages. So if you're wanting to do it, you need to do it now, or if you've got friends or family that want to save some money, reach out to us. So it's been a great relationship with the Highland Commerce Guild, met a lot of great people. It's a great business organization. I wish that we had more people involved with it, Mary Ellen. That would be a great opportunity for people that are on different boards within the Highlands, on the neighborhood boards, to be part of this board. I think it's a good fit. And it was a good fit for me when I was the president of the Upper Highlands. So wish you all well and great success.
Thank you, Mr. Ed.
Yeah, thank you, Ed. Okay, Rhonda. Good morning, Rhonda.
Good morning. My name is Rhonda Poston. I am with Anytime Waste, so I want to be your garbage lady. We are the only local full service garbage provider in the city, residential, commercial, and industrial. And in recent days, we just took over the UPS contract, and we have about 50 employees, and we're very diverse. And we're looking to, I'm a part of LEBA, so we're looking for local businesses to use another local business. But I'm all things garbage, so if you've got something you need to throw away and you don't know what to do with it, I'm your person.
Thank you, Rhonda. Okay, next we have Emmanuel Black. Can you hear us?
Yes, good morning, everyone. So I'm Emmanuel. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm the Economic Development Manager for Louisville Metro Government with Louisville Forward and small businesses. And so essentially what we do is we assist and give resources to people who want to create a small business. And so that's all I have to say. Glad to be on the meeting today.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, and then lastly, we have Mary Ellen.
One question. Emmanuel, would you put your contact information in the chat box, please?
Yes, I sure will.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mary Ellen, can you hear us?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Hi, good morning, everybody. I really came to listen about the Coyotes, but I'm staying for all the really great information. Good to see Ed there. Ed actually got me involved with the Upper Highlands Neighborhood Association years and years ago. And now I'm the president of the Upper Highlands Neighborhood Association, as I mentioned earlier. And just getting started, working really hard on a lot of different projects. And just want to be a part of the business community in our neighborhoods. A lot of our neighbors in this neighborhood frequent all of your businesses. So really excited to be a part of this. And I will be attending meetings. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you so much, Mary Ellen.
Have we covered everybody? Well, what are you saying, Miss Perez?
Miss Amy did not introduce herself.
Oh,
Sorry.
Amy, how dare you?
Okay. Well, my name is Amy Fuskapour, and I just started helping out with Bardstown Road Aglow, and now I've taken over the role of sort of helping with the press releases and the Zoom and all those type of things. And I have a background. I was a former news producer for Wave TV for 10 years. And I've been an independent producer and writer, and I'm also the managing editor of a literary magazine called the Louisville Review. So I do a lot of, independent writing and producing things. I'm very happy to be here with all of you. And I also live in the Highlands in the Deer Park neighborhood. So I think that's about it. Thanks.
Well, we'll have to change our tag. We can go live with Amy.
Aaron, I have a quick report on Bardstown Road Overlay District.
Well, by all means, update us, Nick.
Okay. As many of you may be aware of, Bardstown Road is an overlay district. So that means anytime a business in the Highlands wants to make any improvements to their facade or their building or major improvements and what have you, that has to go before a committee, Metro Planning and Design, for approval. And the purpose is to seek a permit. And once that permit is obtained, then the business can continue with their plans. There has been some recent activity. There is a building at 1279 Bardstown Road, which is across from Mid-City Mall. And it's actually directly across from, if you know where the Heine Brothers there in the Mid-City Mall parking lot. The former name of the building was Time and Space. It was a bar restaurant. And that was pretty much very severely damaged by fire back in 2018. So the owner of that building, who also happens to own Cashmere Restaurant, which is next to it, and on the there's actually 3 spaces there. They're owned by the same property owner, Cashmere, Time and Space, and Taco City. So those are all owned by the owner of Cashmere Restaurant. So they are seeking a permit to that Time and Space building that would be torn down, and a new structure would be put in place. It would be a 2-story frame structure, and it's kind of a multi-use building. The first portion of the building that fronts Bardstown Road would be commercial space, and then the back portion of the building would actually be 4 apartments, and those apartments would be on concrete piers that would allow parking underneath of the apartments. So, so a pretty ambitious project. It's has about an $800,000 price tag to it. And there was a meeting yesterday with Planning and Design, and the project was approved. So it will be getting underway here probably the next month or 2. So that will be quite an addition to that area and bring in some residential as well to that space. So anybody have any questions on that project?
Is it going to be a setback?
It will use the same footprint as the current Time and Space building. So the patio will remain in place as it is now. And there are also 2 trees in front of it that will remain. So that's the current situation on it.
Okay, thank you.
Could you tell me again, where was the address? Where is this located? What address was it?
Yeah, the street address is 1279 Bardstown Road, and it's directly across from Mid-City Mall.
Okay.
There's a series
It's
of
next to Cashmere.
Yeah, there's a series of businesses there. Cashmere, Time and Space, which is no longer operating. Then next to that, you have Taco City. And then next to Taco City, you have Joy Luck. So there's a little string of businesses there.
Little bungalows.
Yeah, exactly.
I have a question.
Will the building be in keeping with the rest of those 4 buildings?
The building is going to be more contemporary design. So there is an element they're working on that will kind of tie it to those current structures. But it is going to be quite a bit different than the current buildings that are there.
I have a question about the space next to the dog park bar, the old gas station. Is there any updates? I saw the for sale, then I saw the sold, and then I saw the sold gone. Does anyone know any details?
I have not heard anything. I did talk to the realtor there when that sold sign went up, and he said that they were not able to make any announcement at that time about the owner or the person who purchased the building, but apparently that may have fallen through because, as you mentioned, that sold sign has been removed. So apparently that building is back on the market.
Okay.
Gina, I read in Louisville Business First that the gentleman that bought it said he was a speculative property owner and that he had no plans for it at the current time. But that was just what I saw in Louisville Business First.
So he purchased it and he's just gonna sit on it, you think?
That's kind of the impression I got.
Okay.
Are you talking about the old Baders?
Yes, correct.
Thanks.
Come on, Aaron. Cassie is trying to join us, I think. Yeah, I don't know if she can do it or not. She's texting me, and I told her to join us. So I don't know if she's going to be able to get into us or not.
I don't see, she hasn't shown up yet as trying to get in. Does she have the link? She should have the link.
Yes. Let me double check.
Okay.
Well, on that note, I have a 9:30, so I'm gonna have to sign out here. Good to see you all. You all have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Hey, thanks, Ed.
Ed.
Hi, Ed.
Go
Bye.
get him, Ed.
Oh, I got them.
Same here. I got another call. See y'all later. See you next time.
Thank you so much.
Hey,
All right, bye.
Bye.
As do I. You guys have a great day.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
Well,
Over and
we
out.
tried. Yeah. We all
Well,
tried.
here she is. Here's
So,
Cassie.
is she on board?
She just logged on.
All right.
Hi, Aaron.
Are you in there?
I am. I don't know if, sorry, I'm joining from my phone because that's where you sent me the link. And if folks are still on, I just want to apologize for the scheduling mix up. I knew this was happening and then it wasn't actually on my calendar, which is an oversight on my office's part. So sorry that I'm joining so late.
Well, we will never hold it against you for being human. It's a difficult choice, but it's a strong choice.
Yeah, well, I ended up, I had a meeting scheduled at the same time. And anyway, it's over now. And so please, if there are updates or things I missed, Aaron, I'll connect with you offline.
Not a problem. Just out of curiosity, is there anything from your current research? And I know the budget meeting's tonight, but is there any other than joining? We did talk about the meeting being accessible, open meeting. Was there any other information or thoughts you would like us to know?
So I will tell you, I'm hosting in conjunction with Bill Hollander, who's the chair of the budget committee. And we're going to have a whole bunch of ways for people watching to participate and give us feedback through real-time Zoom polls and also a Google form. Even if you can't make the meeting, fill out the Google form and advocate for the things that you think would make our community better. Particularly, if there are things that we should be doing to better support and fund small businesses, I think that would be a great thing. There's sort of an open-ended comment section on the Google form. And Aaron, I can make sure you have a link to that to distribute to folks.
Great.
Please give us all of that feedback.
No, appreciate the link. I told him earlier, it's like, to me, some of this stuff is wonderful that the technology is there, but finding these links sometimes creates a challenge for me.
Yeah, things can get buried in the inbox pretty easily, I think. So I'll make sure that you all get that. And both Bill Hollander and I are very much, we believe in participatory budgeting and in using community feedback to shape how we actually do spend our dollars. And so please, please, please give us feedback. It will actually make a difference in the things that we advocate for this budget cycle.
Wonderful. Well, with that being said, I think we've covered our bases today and cannot thank each and every one of you all enough for joining. I will get with the group for the drawing last time we had Tom Abrelli, and Jeff O'Brien won the cards. And so we do have a PG&J Dog Park gift card. And thank you enough for doing that, being part of the Highlands Commerce Guild.
Thank you all for having me.
Wonderful. Talk to you guys soon. Any questions, by all means, reach out. We will.
I think John wanted to say something.
John, talk to us.
Just wanted to give an update on parade and the activities that are going to go on that'll affect down there. If I could share my screen, I'll show you the passport that's out there right now. The host will have to do it. Obviously, the city has not accepted any applications for events. We were well aware of that as we tried to put a placeholder in just for the date, which would have been March 13th. During the last month, we tried to drive some business. I don't know if it's coming across, if you see it or not. There you go. So we made up the Irish passport, which started February 15th and will run through Parade Day. We're obviously taking care of the sponsors of the parade being a 501c3 charity event, and set it up where it's spread over a month. You can go in, visit one of these places. If they get into the neighborhood, they're likely to stop at more than one place. But we did pay special attention to those that have been partners with the charity. All they have to do is get 5 stickers on there and they can bring it back to us. We will set up Hibernian Hall like we normally do in front of Paul Mitchell at 950 Baxter, where they could drop them off. And we're going to give them a branded parade glass for actually participating. So there's a little incentive to get down there and visit all these small businesses. And as you can tell, some of them are not even in the Highlands. So we're pretty spread out, which will help beyond the actual parade route. As for the 13th itself, everything that we are seeing is indicating that the block will be very busy on March 13th. They know it's parade day. They know there's no parade, but they're gonna come out anyway. And we've talked to all the businesses and kind of let them know what they can expect. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to update today. We are very careful about how we do things to stay within restrictions and not put anybody else in jeopardy. But we hope that a lot of people do come down in a fashion that's safe and support all the local business down there. The only event that we are going to have that we normally do every year is the blessing and tapping of the keg, which starts at Goodwood down on Main and Clay, and that'll be during the afternoon till about 6 o'clock, and then we move over to O'Shea's for the tapping portion. Both businesses are going to have strict allowances as to how many people can come into the business. So if anybody has participated in that, you know it's a very, very well attended event. But because of restrictions, you may show up and have to wait in line or try to get to one of the 2 spots and maybe not get to the second one. That's where we're at right now. We'll wait and see how restrictions flow for the rest of the year, see if we can't do something on the block, whether it be a block party or some other activity to help bring more people down there. Obviously, without a parade, our charity is taking a little hit. We did expend a lot of money last year on feeding first responders through purchasing their meals from all of the sponsors and places down in the Highlands. So you see in the bottom right corner, we are still selling the parade shirts this year to help generate some revenue. Small as it is, it's revenue that we can help turn around and give back to the community. So it's an update about how you're going to get affected through the rest of this month, and especially on March 13th, and we'll go from there as best we can.
Well, that really covers a lot, and glad to see your adaptability. That's not a bad shot either. Now,
Thank
what were you adapting there?
a new life with my wife.
Aw.
Well, I cannot thank you enough for your continued participation and support in the area, and really glad that you all are keeping a presence, keeping the day sacred. How is that?
And we did send in our checks, so we are official members of the Highland Commerce Guild.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Have to support.
If there are, I don't want to cut anybody off. Any questions or thoughts before we sign off today?
I have quite a few questions, but I don't want to take any more time because I know everybody has to get on with their day. But is there someone I can reach out to have a chat or something? Anyone in particular?
On which
here?
topic?
About the guild itself and
417-7610.
Wait a minute, I'm sorry. Would you say that again?
It's 417-7610.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Well, thank you all very, very much. I look forward to seeing you all next month.
Thanks, Aaron.
Shake them up, girl.
Thanks,
everyone. Glad to see you. I'm glad you're out there.
Thank you very much.
You guys hang in there. If you all have anything, even if you want a cup of coffee, I'm not above it. 417-7610. I'm out there. Amy, thank you very much. I couldn't do all that stuff, especially today. I couldn't have done none of it today.
Oh, it's okay. All right. Well, thank you. And everyone have a good day.
You too. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.